Well, say something.
Okay.
To Doris.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to Doris?
Okay.
Huh?
No, okay. 1, 2, 3, okay.
Which translates to?
Oh, okay.
Cover off, you old cat.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
I'm sure that you wish you could see her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, well we'll give her your love when we see her shortly, alright?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Say goodbye then.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Actually, I'll write these down. We might be able to find them.
Eubank Street.
How did you spell that?
E-W Bank.
Okay.
Baines Place.
Yeah. Is that B-A-I?
B-A-I-N-E-S. Place. That's where my mother was born. No, she was born in Bradford, my mother. So she told me. Bradford, that's right. Because my grandfather was a printer's compositor. You know? He had a good job, and then he caught this. It was called in them days creeping paralysis. You know, where he could get about a bit, but not much. But I used to take him to the pub, and I was only 20 then. But I didn't drink anything, nothing like that, you know. I just used to pay for this drink and sit with him. And he used to say, "This is my granddaughter." With the jet black hair, and, you know, not like it is now. But there was Hayward Street, put Hayward Street down, that's where we went to school.
Is that H-A-Y?
H-E-Y, Worth Street.
What suburbs are these in?
Everton. Everton.
Yeah.
Is
Baines Place in Everton as well?
Yeah, just about, yes. We haven't come to Anfield yet. It's a hell of a big place, you know, Liverpool.
And Eubank Street as well?
That's where we used to live, Eubank Street.
So Ron would know these?
Ron would know them all, yeah. He was only 7 when he left, you know, he may not remember. But that's yeah, and we're St George's School, that's where we all went to school.
Is that in Hayward Street?
No, yeah.
Okay.
St George's School.
Was Dad born in...
Pardon?
Where was Dad born? Eubanks?
Eubank Street.
Yeah.
There was no hospitals then, you were born in
Do you know the house number?
14.
14.
14 Eubank Street. It's all raised to the ground now.
Is it?
Got bombed. Scotland Road, yeah. Scotland Road, that is the slums. Dad, no, I'm not I hate saying it, but it was nowhere where we lived.
Yeah.
You know, but Scotland Road, that's where the baddies come from. And
what about your mum's side?
Baines Place, yeah, Baines Place.
Baines Place.
Yeah, that's about a quarter of an hour's walk from where we live. Louisa Street, that's my dad's side. Can you spell Louisa? I couldn't.
Yeah.
Not now, I'd have to look it up. Louisa Street, that's where my other grandmother lived. Louisa Street, yeah.
That's your dad's mother?
Yeah. But Ronnie wouldn't remember that, I don't think. I remember right from I was 5. I remember the first day I went to school. I do, honestly. My mother bought me for 6pence. She brought me a lovely little penny, because we used to lay pennies over our clothes, you know. And I hated school. I played truant many a time. I have, honestly. I used to, when the bell stopped ringing, then I used to go and hide somewhere and then come back. I did, honestly. But I never got hit for it or anything, because my mum knew I wasn't there. But I went to a church school, you know, where you had to go into praise to the church every morning. What a beautiful church, St George's Church. And Albany, no, Ronnie wouldn't know that. I'm just trying to think where he would know. They wouldn't, at that age, I don't think he'd remember a lot. Wait a minute.
Is Baines Place still around?
I
Has that
don't
been-
know. I don't know. I haven't been for a very long time up there because my granddad died. Everybody went. They died. And then my aunts who lived there, they all lived in the same street, Baines Place, but they all moved out because they had big families and they had to move into the new property. That was in Anfield,
Oh, right.
say, where the football ground is. That was quite nice. And where else? That's where we went to school.
So can you remember the names of, like your mum's sisters and your dad's family?
Yeah, that's Louisa Street, yeah. And my mother's sisters, they moved from Baines Place to Anfield,
All right.
to where the new houses were being built at that time.
And what were their, do you know, her brothers and sisters? You remember their names?
Yeah.
Your aunties and
My
uncles?
mother's,
Yeah.
yeah, there was, my mother was the eldest. She was in service when she was 13. She went into a doctor's house, Dr. Shepherd.
Mhm.
And then when she had us kids, I remember she took us all around to show us where she worked. You know, we went in the house, lovely. Yeah, that's why she always spoke nicely, my mum. You know, she didn't speak Liverpool like I do. Because the doctor, you know, she was in there, she left to get married. She was 13 when she went, she left to get married. So, I don't know if she met me dad because she was never allowed out. True, honestly, you wouldn't believe it. Where were we?
The sisters'
Oh yeah.
names, brothers.
Well,
sisters.
there's my mother. That was my mother. What names?
Yeah.
Florence. There was my Agnes, Sally, and Alice. And then there was the boys. There was these are my uncles. And I was scared stiff of them because they had such big voices, and I was scared stiff of anybody with a big voice. I was when I was a kid, and I hated them. I did. And if they were in their houses, I used to not go in. I used to say, "Is your dad in?" They used to say, "Yes." I said, "Well, I'm not coming in." I did, honestly. That's Uncle Alf, Alfred, and Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob. That's Auntie Kate, and that's Auntie Kate was his wife. She had a lot. She had 8 children. They're my cousins. Yeah, I went to Liverpool a few years ago, quite a few years ago, and I stayed with my aunt in Liverpool. That was recently, when I was young. This was only a few years ago, but it had all changed. I didn't like it. I came back home. I didn't like the slums.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same place, you know. But it's all altered now. It's nice now, especially where the river is, you know.
Okay.
And I used to work in the town. Yeah, I used to work in the town. And I've had so many jobs in Liverpool because you could go in one job, and if I didn't like it, I used to walk out and go and get another job the next day. I did, honestly, because the work was so easy to get then. That was after the Depression, you know. Then you get everything then after that. All builds up again. But and then all my cousins, I've got eight cousins they belong to my Uncle Bob, my Aunt Kate. And,
Did she have any other brothers?
yes, she had Uncle Alf and Uncle Bob. And what was the name of the other? She had another one, but I can't think of him. My Aunt Alice's husband was George. He was nice. I liked him. Oh, he was nice. He was so quiet. He was lovely. He died when he was 40. Pneumonia.
Yeah.
Wouldn't believe it. He was lovely, he was.
What about on your dad's side?
On my dad's side, it's my Uncle Harry. And then the lame one. And the other one, she didn't get married or anything like that. She used to tell us that. But, you know, she used to always want to be coming to my mum's house. And I used to have to go and fetch her. I was only big. She used to walk for me. All the kids used to stand at the back of us and shout after me. and I used to hate it. I was so, I did, I used to say to my mum, I'm not going with her again. I did, you know, I was embarrassed. You know, when you're a kid, I mean, you'd think nothing of walking, but she had the most peculiar walk I've ever seen in my life. She was over this side, and then she was over that side. What am I doing with me neck? Is that it then? Anyway, she used to come to my house, well, to our house, but I used to skedaddle off somewhere. But, and then when we got older, all the cousins, we all went out together, you know. That was nice. And then we were all friends till we moved to Watford. Yeah.
So who was that? That was Undine, was it?
And yes, she had to go. When my grandmother died, I can't remember my grandfather much then, but I remember my grandmother. She could bake the best bread you ever tasted in your life, and I used to just go round for the bread.
This is your dad's mum?
Yeah. Oh God, she used to, and she always wore the snow white apron. You know, in them days, they had dresses and skirts and black, but beautiful white aprons, you know, and she was spotless. And she used to tell us, I've no love nor nothing. No laughing or anything like that. Kitty and I used to sit there and we'd look at each other and start giggling, and then she'd say, out. I'll never forget that. Out. Oh, and we used to giggle down. We used to have to, she wouldn't let us out the front way. We had to go round the alley, what you call the alley. She says, go on, out. Oh, I didn't like her at all. I didn't.
But she baked good bread.
Oh, and I used to say, Mum, do you need any messages? That's what we used to call them in them days. She'd say, well, you can go to your grandma's and get this, and I'll ask her, can she lend me some money? Which that's what I had to do in them days, borrow money. Everybody did. But I used to always have a bit of bread, and it was lovely. And of course, we didn't have best butter, as we call it. It was margarine, but she had butter. Yeah, it was lovely. And that sticks in my mind. And then my uncle married again. He lost his wife, Elsie.
Which uncle?
That's Harry. That's
Harry.
Yeah. He lost his wife, and then that's right. He lost his wife, and then he came back to live. They put Andy in a home. And then he came back and took over the house in Louisa Street. What you got down? That was my grandparents' house. And he took that over, and then he had this woman living with him. I don't think he married her. I don't know. I can't remember about that. Because his son's a lot older than we are. He went in the army. He's called him Bunty.
Harry's son?
Yeah. Harry's son, he went in the army, and I remember the picture. It's so old, and he's got 3 children. That's when he came out of the army. God, that's years and years ago. But,
don't know the kids' names?
No. We didn't have nothing to do with them after my dad wouldn't have nothing to do. I think they had some kind of a row, which when you're a kid you don't understand, do you?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have a clue. And then I like my Aunt Alice the best because she was the youngest of the. Oh no! And then I've got Uncle Paul. There's another Uncle Paul.
Who's who?
That Ronnie. I wonder if Ronnie. He wasn't much older than Kitty. It was. He was the youngest of the Bland family.
Oh, okay, so he's your mum's
brother.
Youngest brother.
He disappeared with his wife and his 2 kids to Australia.
Really?
Yes, oh yes. And then we couldn't find him. We lost trace of him, and my mother and my Aunt Agnes, she was living with us then because she just lost her husband. They went everywhere to try and trace him, Salvation Army, everywhere, and they still never traced him. Then we heard he'd gone to New Zealand, And to this day, I don't know what happened to any of them.
So what's his name? Paul. Bland.
Oh, wait a minute, where are we?
Who's your mum's brother?
Yeah. Bland.
Yeah, so
Bland. Paul Bland.
How old would he be?
Oh,
Would he have been?
well, he was so young, he really was. He wasn't much older than Kitty was. He must have been 30, I think, when he went abroad.
Okay.
Because he met his wife he was working in the tuberculosis hospital up the road, and that's how he met his wife Ellen. And that's it. But I like Paul. He was nice. I got on ever so. He spoke really nice. You know, he was to me. He wasn't a Liverpudlian. He was really nice. But that was many years ago, and I still don't know where he is. I've also got another cousin that went in the mounted police in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've often tried when I was older.
What side of the family is that?
That's my dad's side. That's
Sarah Houghton.
Houghton, yeah.
What was his name? Do you know?
Oh, I can't remember. She had so many kids. Harry, that's the next. Harry was next to him, and I used to have a crush on him. And I was only little, you know. You get these crushes, don't you? But you're scared, so you wouldn't even talk. If you looked at them, you used to run away. It's not like it is today, you know. Scares your own shadow then. And yeah, I used to have because he was handsome. Because my father was a very handsome man, you know. He was a lovely looking man. He really was. But I used to have a crush on her. I used to just go special just to look at him and then walk out. I did, honestly. I remember all these things. Oh dear, how funny. Things that come back to you. What else was there? She had some girls. She had 4 girls, but I've forgotten them. There was Hilda, and there was Lily, and I've forgotten the other 2 girls' names.
Who's that?
That's my dad's sisters.
Oh, okay.
He only had the one sister.
He had one sister.
My dad only had one sister. Yeah.
Wasn't there Hannah and Undone?
That's Aunt Hannah. Aunt Hannah. Kitty was called after her.
Yeah.
That's Aunt Hannah.
Okay.
But she was very strict, like my father was. She couldn't get anybody more strict than him. And same as my uncle, same as my grandmother on that side of the family, so strict. Made you, when you were a kid, afraid of them. You know, I was even afraid of my own dad. Yeah. Oh, I could tell you things. You never forget these things, you know.
No.
You never forget them. And I stayed with her for a bit, and this was only a few years back. And I got on so, she was lovely. That's my mother. I hated that. But, you know, the only thing I didn't like doing is going to catch the tram, because every time I climbed the steps to the tram, it only cost a penny. The penny used to go out my glove and I used to lose it, so I used to have to get up and walk. Yeah, oh, them things I remember. I don't know. But, you know, years ago I used to think if I got the money, I'd go back there and gather all my family that I've always known, gather them all together in one big hall and just say hello to them, you know. But my Uncle Bob, one with the big voice, well, they both had big voices, they've always been very poor. We were all poor, to tell you the truth. Everybody else was in Liverpool at that time. And I remember, oh, I forgot what I was talking about. I've never done that for years. What was I talking about?
Where you worked in Lime Street and...
Yeah, I've told you that. It's a beauty bit, I think. But I can't remember.
Leading up to it.
No,
Yeah.
Bob.
Hmm?
Your Uncle Bob.
Yeah, but what was I going to say about him? I've forgotten. Oh, that's I've had to wash myself with that. It'll come back. It always does. Yeah, I was telling you about this hall where I used to what do you call it when you want something to happen and it doesn't. What's that? The name? The word?
Wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking. Yeah, that'll do. I didn't mean that, but that'll do. Fine. Yeah, I used to do all this, and I used to think I'd love to go back to Liverpool, gather them all in this big hall. You needed a big hall, I'll tell you, and see them all, because most of them had 6 children each. You know. Oh yeah, I knew what I was going to tell. See, I told you to come back. Uncle Bob. They moved, and he married again, I think. I'm not sure about this. It's just something my mother said, but I don't know. Anyway, and them girls and the boys, there was 8 of them, 4 girls, 4 boys. They married dentists. They were so well for themselves, and they were brought up in the slums. A lot worse than we were, I've got to say that. A lot worse than we were. They'd nothing to put on the beds. They used to have coats on the beds. That's what you did in Liverpool. We didn't. We were, well, I don't know, I've had a couple of coats when my mother couldn't get blankets. I've done that. But that's what everybody else did it. Yeah, but I find doing without things at that age, I mean, when you've got nothing, it makes you, when you get older, you can cope better. It must be awful to have everything you wanted when you were young, and then when you got older, you know, and then you've got nothing. That's hard to cope with. But I find that the more, if you're brought up where it's hard, you appreciate everything that you have. And everything that anybody does for you, you know. I can't put that into the words I want to. But it makes you appreciate it anyway, which I always do, you know. But I'm so independent. I mean, I have a cleaning lady come in for 2 hours a week, but that's medical, because I'm classed as handicapped. My car's on there. So she comes in twice a week, but she's on holiday at the moment while my place is not clean. Oh, are you
Yep, we're on.
Oh, hello. I'm not talking to
Anybody you like.
Oh, hello Tracy, how are you? Are you okay? Thank you for the, what do you call it?
The video.
The video. It was nice to see your face for a minute. I wish you'd have said a bit more. Anyway, I've seen the wedding photographs, and I've got your brother actually sitting on my couch with his wife. Isn't that nice? That's good, isn't it, eh? Maybe I'll have you on the couch one day. No, I know, I've said the wrong thing. I didn't mean it like that.
Say hello to Dad.
Hello. Hello, Ron. How are you? Are you okay? It's nice to see you smiling again. Yeah, if I'd got plenty of money, I would like to come and spend quite a few weeks with you. I'd love that. Never mind. As long as I get a photograph occasionally, that'll do me. You know how much I love you, don't you? Well, I always have and I always will. Okay? There, that's your signature tune, Ron. Okay?
With the thumbs up.
Yeah, okay. and anybody else knows me there. Hello to everybody. Norma and Greg and the children. Frida, how are you doing? Oh no, Frida's not there, is she?
Yeah, well, she won't say it.
She wouldn't remember.
No.
I don't know. I was going to say, if you're showing it to her, you know, I don't know whether you're allowed to do that. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I've seen the wedding photographs and they're lovely. And I know about your dog. Now, did you get your horse? You didn't get your horse?
Yeah, she's got one.
You've got one?
Yeah, she's got one.
Oh, write and tell me about it. And please write a bit. I haven't been able to write, as you know. So I've had to phone you up and that's costing me money. So would you mind writing a letter to me, please? And give my love to Norma and Greg, of course, and Norma's husband, Jeff, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And that's about it. I've had a good day. I've talked too much as usual, but you never know your luck. Whatever the luck's for, I don't know. Get off!